We are recording.
Great.
Okay, so once again, welcome Lisa from AusDare and K18. She'll be sharing with us today all of the ins and outs of the K18 system. So take it away, Lisa.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks for having me. I know that we touched base a couple of months ago, and we've spoken a little bit prior to today to work out what it is that we're wanting to cover. And it's looking like a little bit of K18 product information, but probably a lot more information on using the products in the salon, communicating with the guests, costings, etc. So let's get started.
Cool.
And I ain't staying on the grind. It's time to treat myself to sunshine. It's been a minute, I've been in it, no lie. TLC, it ain't fine.
So you can see that there's possibly something new coming, which we're very excited about, but we'll wait for that one for another day. So K18. So K18's a biotech company. So K18 was born in a medical lab. And I think that's a really big part of understanding K18 where it sits in the market. So up until recently, most products that we've had have been born in a beauty lab. And so biomimetic means to mimic nature. So basically K18 takes what it believes to be the best available and converts it to us being able to mimic it synthetically. So these are the areas that we're going to try and cover today. And if there is anything that we don't actually get to or get through, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have via email. I'm also going to be sharing my teaching notes with you, which I've taken the basic parts of this course, dropped them into a 12-page PDF, which you'll be able to have on your hub for people to access, and also formulas. So getting to know K18. So at K18, we unlock the potential of nature to solve the biggest problems in hair care, such as hair damage. Using the natural world, we develop the biotechnology with synthetic biology to create sustainable, effective, fast-working solutions, next-level hair health. Why is that doing that? Sorry, Rob. So within the hairdressing industry, we have 3 categories of product, and they all play a part, and they all play a part in a salon service. So cosmetic being your leave-ins, your curl creams, and generally your normal everyday shampoo and conditioners. And then we move into bond technology, which we know entered the industry about 13 years ago. Then we have the biomimetic hair science of K18. So we'll dig a little bit deeper. So what is a K18? What is the K18 peptide? So a molecular level repair. Hair repairs across multiple bonds, including the polypeptide chains and the disulfide bonds, reversing damage from bleaching, colouring, chemical services, and heat. So I'm going to leave that one up there for just a little bit longer. So let's take a look at the polypeptide chain. So this is a strand of hair which we just viewed in the video. And if you have a look at the outer layer where we're sitting in the yellow, which is our cuticle, this is where our cosmetic products sit. And then we dig a little bit deeper into our cortex, which is the light green, and this is where our bonds sit. So any bond product, any bleach that has a bond already built into it, any of your plexing world. And then we dig a little bit deeper and we get into the pink area, which is the polypeptide chain, the keratin chain. And we know at K18 that the polypeptide chain is the strength to hair overall. So if we're not actually healing the inner layer of the peptide, we're actually not healing the hair completely. So that's the main difference between K18 and traditional bond building. So bond building sits in the cortex and it sort of acts as a patch. So it sort of patches the hair. So if we look at hair and we look at strength and we look at where strength matters, K18 renews hair from the inside to heal damage by repairing the broken polypeptide chains, keratin chains, responsible for hair's strength, elasticity. This restores strength, softness, softens, and bounce for hair like new. We'll have a look at our lineup. And we'll just go through a couple of the myths. So we're vegan, we're cruelty-free, we're plastic net zero, patented peptide, radically simplicity and fearless innovation, meaning that K18 won't bottle anything if it already exists. So any technology that comes through from K18 is going to be something new within the range and nothing doubles up. Each product plays its own role. So the molecular prayer category is our mask, our mist, and our oil. So all three products are a macro dose of the peptide. We go a little bit deeper here. So the professional molecular repair category features these three products, and they're the beginning of the service. So mist, if we look at mist, so mist is what reverses existing damage. So for your guest that turns up to the salon, anything that they have going on in their hair, by misting their hair prior to the chemical service, you're able to reverse anything that's already happened in the hair. So what it does, it fortifies pre-service, restoring up to 99% of elasticity. You've probably seen these couple of photos in this video on social media. You've basically got hair that's been bleached 5 times without mist, and then hair that's been bleached 5 times with mist. And you could say 5 lots of bleach. In today's service, it's not unusual for bleach to hit the hair 5 times. Think of the techniques that we're doing with, ends being tapped out, bleach washes at the basin. So it's a massive difference having mist in the hair and mist not in the hair. Molecular repair mask. So what it does, it takes damage repair further. It restores hair before and after chemical service, and it works on all hair types. So we know at K18, due to 10 years research, that the polypeptide is the same in all hair. So it doesn't vary depending on color, texture, gender. It's actually the same. So we know that when the molecular repair mask works, it will improve every head of hair and improve every head of hair permanently. And then we get to our molecular repair oil. So the oil has the same macro dose as the peptide, which I think that if you're having a retail product sit in your client offering and it's sitting above that $90 mark, you really need to have a really good understanding of what it is and what it actually does. So the oil also sits in the polypeptide chain, and it is a treatment. Why you can't deliver a full treatment with the oil is because you would have to put too much into the hair to actually get the macro dose that's required. So it works best as another puzzle piece on top of the mask. And it's for hair that naturally has frizz. It will permanently defrizz the hair when used ongoing. And it's also the heat protector. So it will heat protect up to 232, whereas the mask will actually heal the damage, but not protect it from the heat. And we're going to go into all the formulas. We'll get up to them soon. Peptide category basically was created to take the troubleshooting out of buildup in hair. It consists of two products, chelator and detox shampoo. Chelator for me is an absolute secret weapon in hair color. So you now have the ability to reduce mineral in the hair within 4 minutes. This is like incredibly exciting because anyone that's been in the industry for a while knows that there's always been products available that can assist in mineral buildup, but they generally take about an hour to do. They get applied, they process 40, 45 minutes, they get shampooed out, then you get to dry and then start your service. But you now have the ability to actually reduce all mineral in the hair prior to a chemical service or a freestanding service in 4 minutes. So we go a little bit into it here. So we know that there's no mixing, there's no rinse, and there's no extra time. In order for the chelator to work, it actually is like a magnet. So it attracts to all mineral in the hair. So it actually can make the hair a little bit knotty, which we're not really used to at K18. So I still remember the first time that I had my own hair chelated, and you know, I had to actually hold on to it and comb through it with a paddle brush. Whereas now, after using the product for 12 months, there's really no knots in my hair when a chelation happens. So don't be put off by it. It's really worth the effort. So you chelate and you need to wait 4 minutes, and then you mist directly on top of that. By now 8 minutes is up, the hair's a little bit damp. It's best managed to lightly brush through and dry the hair off. And of course, you're not drying the hair for any processing or to speed anything up. It's just that if you're going to move into foils or a particular chemical service, most times you're probably going to want to have the hair dried. So bit of a water map for Australia. I mean, look at Victoria. Victoria and Tassie, definitely the best water. New South Wales gets some. I've had a couple of trainings in New South Wales, and you know, there's definitely a lot more mineral in New South Wales than Victoria. But as we move up and we see Queensland, South Australia, I was in Queensland a couple of weeks ago, and I've never seen minerals to be so high. It actually gave me a little bit of a shock. But it also reminded me of conversations that you'd have with clients that maybe had been on holiday and couldn't wait to get back to shampoo their hair. And this is why. So what happens? So calcium and magnesium, it impacts texture, causes rough texture, reduces smoothness, bounce, limped hair. Copper, discoloration, uneven application, color shift, and dullness. Also debris can actually stop the hair from growing when the mineral buildup is that high in the hair. So to be able to actually prep your hair pre-chemical service and just have that leap ahead of anything else, if you haven't actually tried chelator, really the only way to really try it is to actually see it work. It actually works before your very eyes. Chelator gets me really excited. My background is color, and often in a training, I'll get asked how often should you chelate? And I always find it really difficult to answer because I'm like, you're asking a colorist how often they should do a better color. Chelator takes 4 minutes. It costs you in the salon $3 to do as a service, and makes a massive difference all round. A little bit of information on using it. So with chelator, you section the hair into quarters, and it's 6 sprays per quarter. You wait 4 minutes, and then you mist directly on top of it, and mist is 10 sprays per quarter. Then we move into our detox shampoo. So our detox shampoo is designed to pull the chelator out in the salon. It's designed for your client that shampoos less often, or unless they're tackling something in particular. So, you know, hard water, medication, anything that sort of blocks the pathway in the hair, blocks the pathway for healthy hair or for the K18 mask to work. So we use it also to remove bleach from the hair. Bleach takes the hair to anything above 9.5, and detox shampoo pulls it back to 4.8. We'll move into Damage Shield Daily Care. So Damage Shield shampoo is designed for your client that shampoos more regularly. K18 really believe that what they leave behind is as important as what they actually take from the hair. In a salon scenario, which I'm getting up to, and I'll be sharing all my notes with you, we remove tint and toner with Damage Shield. Damage Shield Protective Conditioner, new to K18, conditioner to K18 is new. It's everything that the mask isn't. So the conditioner is designed around environmental care. So it'll protect the hair from UV up to 3 days. UV damage is very different to chemical damage. UV damage is often finer. If you think of bleach and maybe grey hair, hair that has no melanin in it, and hair that's prone to UV damage, this will help keep the natural protein in the hair. And it's designed to be used either in conjunction with the mask or at home. Once the client's gone through the reset formula, Damage Shield shampoo and conditioner is designed to be just used as your normal daily shampoo and conditioner. I like this little chart. It just sort of talks about the order that the products go into the hair. Nice and simple to understand. So no more compromising. So how much should I use? So we're about to go into that. So chelator, mist, mask, and oil. So chelator. So you're dividing your head into 4 quarters and you're chelating up to 6 to 10 sprays per quarter. Waiting 4 minutes. In extreme cases, you can freestand it, process it for 10 minutes, detox it out before your chemical service. Molecular repair mist. So mist is 10 sprays per quarter minimum. Mist really is what stops breakage in its tracks. It reverses any swelling that's been in the hair, any damage anywhere prior to any chemical service. So prior to colouring, keratin, perming, straightening, whatever service it is that you're doing, it actually gives you the security to move forward with that service. So if you're misting and not chelating, you actually can spray some water under your mist, which just starts the pH. And it's that same theory as wiping a bench with a dry cloth or wiping a bench with a damp cloth. If you are chelating, chelator becomes your water, and you don't put water under chelator because chelator will attract to the fresh water and not the mineral that's built up in the hair. So after applying the K18 Professional Molecular Repair hair mask and waiting 4 minutes, sorry guys, it looks like I missed a slide. So before that, we would have had our mask application, and our mask application is applied 1 ml at a time. And so with your professional size bottle, you have a measured ml. So 1 full pump is 1 ml. With your client having the 50 ml bottle at home, it's also measured. If the client has the little sample of the 5 ml, it's not measured. And that's where you need to actually show your client the amount that they need to do. If a client comes back and they say that K18 mask, it hasn't worked or it's not doing anything for their hair, there's something that's blocking the pathway. It's not making its way to the polypeptide chain. They're not using it correctly. Or, you know, you'll probably find having discussion, which still happens with me. I can be discussing it with a client who'll tell me that they're still applying it after their conditioner or doing something incorrect with it. Because scientifically, we know that it works on that peptide level on everyone's hair. Oil is 1 to 3 drops after your mask, and you don't need to wait any longer. When the oil first launched, we were told that you needed to wait 4 minutes after applying the oil, which now their research has gone on and their studies are now saying that we actually don't have to wait the 4 minutes. Oil is costed to you at 15 cents an application. There's 600 drops in a bottle. So if you have a guest taking it home, it's costing them 30 cents an application. So these are the services which we have a formula for. Rob, I'll be emailing all the formulas through to you. We generally don't go through every one of them. We stick to the main services, which is your lightener, your keratin, your hair extensions, your K18 and a blow dryer, your K18 and a haircut. But for any of your operators that are perming, doing relaxer, or doing any Japanese style bond breaking straightening, you'll have the formulas on your page, which they can actually use from there. K18 and lightener. So, we've sort of spoken about just before, about before you begin, you're chelating, waiting 4 minutes, misting, waiting 4 minutes. What I like about these notes is it actually drops the pHs in and talks to you a little bit about what's actually happening in the hair, which I think it's a great learning tool as opposed to just following steps 1 to 10. So K18 lightener, bleach, or hair color. So slide before gives you a little more understanding about why and when. And this slide's actually giving us the format in the 1 to 9, which is probably great sort of for your back room wall chart. Toning and glossing. Probably there's a big change that's happened in toning. So K18 now recommend that you actually are toning on your mist again. So once you've applied chelator, mist, you've done your bleach highlights, you really don't have to think too much about K18 again. And the great thing is, unlike the plexing world, you're not adding anything to your color, you're not slowing down the process, and your costs can't blow out of control. So you've actually got your costs that are capped. Doesn't matter how much color you mix up. So, you're not adding something to every mix of bleach. In the plexing world, you can blow your costs not out of control, but your costs can grow without you actually realizing what's going on. And, and sometimes I suppose, and, from experience, you would be negotiating with a client whether they could afford to actually have it done or not. But in the K18 world, because your costs are so capped and you know exactly what you're in for, you can reduce your cost in your client actually having it done. And it's designed for everyone to do, not just selective to bleach hair. So keratin, a little bit of info there on the keratin. If you do a lot of keratin, to have the ability to strengthen the chain and protect it before applying the keratin makes a massive difference to the lasting of the keratin, but also to the quality of the hair once the keratin repels. The amounts, the 1 to 6 on the keratin treatment. Hair extensions, we're massive in the hair extension world. We're not a protein. Nothing adverse can happen. We bring hair extensions back to life. Same rules apply. If you are putting tapes or fresh bonds in, you wouldn't have masks sitting around that area. But your client can extend and have the K18 at home to actually make their extensions last longer. K18 service, freestanding with a blow dry. Chelator before a blow wave is like a secret weapon to be able to get the body back into the hair. And, often years or months of lamination that's built up. K18 and blow dry, the 1 to 9. Haircut, which is the same as the blow dry, but K18 and a haircut. So maximizing your results. So at K18, we skip conditioner, we clarify first, continuous use, less is less, more is more, and made for all. So now we'll cover all these points. So conditioners coat the hair, making it hard for the peptide to effectively penetrate and get into the inner layer. We like to skip it so that the peptide can get right into the damaged sites without interruption. If strands need a little more love, you can apply your Damage Shield Protective Conditioner once the 4-minute period is over. So your Damage Shield conditioner can be applied after the mask at the basin, and then your Damage Shield conditioner would be rinsed out because you can't rinse out the K18 mask once it connects. So all you're doing is removing your excess conditioner. And Damage Shield conditioner is a micro dose of peptide, and it works on the polypeptide chain, so it won't leave behind anything, but it does leave the client with that slightly more luxury feel. that K18 on its own, because we're working on the inside and not the outside, doesn't tend to have. And, you know, people are one way or the other. Clients either want that feeling, that luxury feeling, or they don't. So it's a matter of you just determining with each head of hair and each client what sort of result that you're wanting to achieve. Clarify first. Excessive buildup can make it harder for the K18 peptide to penetrate effectively. So the cleaner the hair, the better the result. So clearing the pathway as much as possible for the peptide to get to where the peptide needs to go. Continuous use. Damage is ongoing, so use of K18 should be too. K18 is a progressive treatment that delivers better results the more that you use it. When it comes to the mask, don't oversaturate. A little goes a long way. Apply a mil at a time. If you end up in a scenario that you feel like the client's hair will need more than a mil, still apply a mil at a time. Sort of works like if you're applying sunblock, you wouldn't put sunblock on the full amount of sunblock on your face, run it down to your legs and think your legs were protected. So if you're wanting to use more than a mil, apply it a mil at a time, a mil on the top and maybe a mil underneath. More is more. Missed. More is more. Be as generous as you can be. You know, obviously check in on your costings and be as generous as you can be. Made for all. K18 is compatible with all products, all services, and works on all hair, regardless of the texture, the generation, or the level of damage. Keep it going. I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone here that, you know, for as long as clients sit in your chair, that, you know, you only have the ability to charge so much and make so much per individual client. So delivering the results that you can deliver in 4 minutes and the transformation that you can perform on a client's hair, you know, can add a great source of income. And when you're charging correctly, and making sure that the service is being charged per mil, per application, it can be incredibly profitable service for you in the salon, you know, while delivering exceptional results on your client. At home, damage is ongoing, so your client's use of K18 should be too. Our at-home treatment helps renew hair from any damage to keep the canvas healthy, make the service last longer, and maintain the client's integrity in the hair. So you start the reset on the client. It's not until the client uses the K18 mask another 5 times executively. We say without conditioner, so without a traditional conditioner, they can use their favorite leave-in, their favorite curl cream. They can still use their favorite product at home, but they need to skip the conditioner during the reset phase. Once the clients reset their hair and the polypeptide becomes a permanent connection, they then drop into what we refer to as a maintenance phase. And the maintenance phase is the client using the mask at least every 3 washes. I actually love this slide. This slide came out of a retail conference that I got to be involved in, and 4,000 customers were interviewed. And there's a figure down the bottom which says 68%. And out of the 4,000 hairdressing customers, 68% said that they would buy their product from a salon recommendation if they were given one. That just something that really stuck out for me, just that sort of, I suppose, that missed opportunity that you can have, your clients in your chair, and often in a hairdressing salon in your chair for hours. We believe it. We believe at K18. You know, you just have to tell the client what you're doing, and during this process, speaking to your client about their ability of maintaining it at home, or whether they understand what it takes to maintain at home. You're getting micro closes. You're getting your client to commit to purchasing the product off you, generally before the service is finished. There's a costing calculator, which I'll make sure that we email out to you as well. You've got your exact breakdowns of each product, and there's a choice of either including the 5 ml, which is the sample size, and costing that into your service, or not. People tend to do it one way or the other. Then in the green box, drop in, it's an Excel spread, so it's going to work for everyone. Drop in what your charge is, and it'll calculate your profit for you over a week, over a month, and annually, depending on the amount of treatments that you're doing per week. So some pricing guide. Option one is using your mist at 8 mils. 40 sprays of mist sounds like a lot, but it's actually 8 mils. And if you see 8 mils in a beaker, it's not a lot of product. You've got there the amount that the mist comes into you. I personally always like to include the GST. And you've got the cost per application. And then you're going down to your mask, and you've got your mask there costed at 3 mils. I've probably in 2 years, I've used 3 mils twice. Your average application of mask is going to be 1 mil, and occasionally 2 mils when you're looking at super long hair. So if you look at the cost of your chelator, your mist, and your mask, it's costing you $10.71 per client. And it's great to know this. And it's great to know where you're at with it when you're working out your salon chair costings. So if you were doing these 3 products and charging your client $30, you're still making $19 profit. You know, if you're charging your client $50, you're making $39 profit, and you're going to have this as well to go back and cross-check. So pricing 2 is exactly the same, but it includes you giving your client the 5 ml ampoule, and that's adding $8.80 to the service. Giving your client the 5 ml ampoule is delivering them with a service they're probably not used to having. It's adding value to their service, and they're getting to sample a product that once it starts to work in their hair, generally it's something that people are going to want to continue with. So that's pretty much it, Rob. Have you got any questions, or has...
No questions from me. I think what's really important for everyone that watches this to understand is that the Unwritten platform is literally the only place that you can take payment from your customer for a colour service and a K18 service, and also drop ship them retail products to their door. Now, obviously the big advantage for us stocking K18 on the platform, especially in the wholesale shop, is that you guys can also get this even if it's 1 item. Now, you pretty much can't do that anywhere else. We have no minimum buy-ins, so that from a cash flow perspective, because obviously the cash flow of a large salon is much easier to go and spend several $1,000s at once to purchase the product. But on Unwritten, of course, there's no minimum orders. So if you need 1 item of these, you can actually get it shipped directly to your business. So between the wholesale and drop shipping, this is the perfect way for you guys to use and also promote and sell this product. And talking about promotion of that product, because you now have all of your e-commerce stores. So of course, when anyone signs up to the Unwritten platform, they get an e-commerce shop. So if you go to the bottom menu on your app, which is the little up arrow, and you go into there, share my shop and products. If you share your shop link, your customers will have the full suite of K18 retail products available to purchase, along with all the other partner brands as well. So massive advantage.
Yeah, which is awesome, Rob. I mean, and you know, and your retail through K18 is going to happen once you've done the pro service. You know, the pro service you have to get really excited about because you know, there's the products your clients, the customer can't actually buy the pro service online.
Yep.
You know, so you know, there's an exciting amount of money that's designed to be made in the chair there. And you know, your client's going to want to use the product, you know, so to be able to lead them in that direction and make such an easy purchase without having to have the full range in stock, you know, I think is a great, fantastic opportunity.
100%. Now, I did just notice in our wholesale shop, we are out of damage shield conditioner in both the retail and the full price. Everything else is in stock, but I understand just while I was standing here, we're actually just waiting for the delivery, the restock of those two, the base and the retail conditioners.
Yep, great.
Very good. All right. Does anyone have any other questions for
Yes.
Lisa? You can either take yourself off mute or drop it into the chat.
Lisa, you mentioned that
Yes.
toning, K18 is now recommending to use the K18 mist, Pro Mist, prior to a toning application instead of the mask. What is that reason for, please?
So they've worked, but so originally when K18 first launched, toning was on mist, and then toning went to big toning on mask. Just with their research now, this is with bleach highlights. They've now worked out to be able to fortify the hair again in between bleaching and the toning process. It gives you a much longer lasting toner.
Okay, so does it have anything to do with the different pH values of the product?
So, well, the pH value is 7.5, and
Yes,
it tends to be more compatible with the style of toning that people are currently doing.
Okay, is that because a lot of people are using an acid toner?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So from my technical background and experience using K18 as well, I can see how that can be beneficial. But prior to using K18, I always conditioned the hair lightly prior to toning because it helped to close the cuticle and make the canvas more even. Therefore, also made it helped to just reduce some porosity. And I found I got a much better toning application, and that was using an acid-based toner as well. So it's still okay
Matt,
to do the mask?
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, so you're saying that you mask before, in between, so bleaching, taking it off, masking, toning on your bleach?
Correct.
Yeah. So look, that's basically what K18 had taught for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The company itself is 4 years old. Their research is just absolutely ongoing, and overall now their teaching is to tone on the mist.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've worked through both scenarios, and I have to say that on the day both scenarios feel and look very similar. And what they now know is that the jeopardy of the toner actually does last longer going on mist.
Okay. We'll have to do some half-head tests and make a comparison.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
All right. Anyone else? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up there. And thank you so much to Lisa again. It's always great to get back on here. I'm sure everyone get refreshed on some of the elements there. And no doubt next time we chat, you might also have a new product.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. See you later. Thanks, Matt. Bye.
If you need any help,
thank you.
Of course, ordering in the wholesale shop or drop shipping, feel free to get in touch with us through the get help function in your app.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And we'll post the video in a day or two once we get that back from Lisa.
And I'll email you, Rob, some notes, and I'll also email the actual teachings on the mist. And if you can't, maybe, I'm sure Matt would like to have a look at it, but maybe leave that on your page as well.
Yep, we'll drop those into the file section. Perfect.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Hey, guys.